AM 560. The Answer.
You had no idea that John Tamny was that optimistic, did you? Bring it out in him. Kevin, Vegas.
Shaun, love your show, brother. I need your help again with a question here. So I don't even know if it was the same guest Prof had on like 2 weeks ago, but he had a guy on talking about the same deal about the strong dollar, weak dollar, and Biden said the dollar was strong, so it was strong. I mean, it makes no sense to me. We lost 25% of the value of it, so we're going to consider that strong. I don't know. How does this? You can't just get in front of a microphone and declare it, and then all of a sudden it is. I don't understand what's
John's
what's the reasoning here.
It was the same guest, I believe, but John's a brilliant guy, brilliant economist. But John, first of all, he's a patriot. He loves the country and the dollar, and he looks at it from that 30,000 foot level, right? And he's right. But here's the thing: we didn't talk about, and we didn't have enough time to talk about it. We could have talked about it. Oil's $57 a barrel. $57. You know, the last time it was $57? Trump's first term. Yeah. And you know the time before that it was $57? Bush won, term one. So the reality is, if you can keep the oil, which is far more important than gold, nobody ever has to buy gold. Everybody has to buy oil. And they know it, whether they know it or not, they're buying it. It's the denominator of everything. So $57 oil, and if it continues here and goes even lower, well, then we're going to be all right. We can navigate through it.
Yeah.
But the problem you have is you have to also navigate where it's not a strong dollar. Because as long as it's a strong dollar in oil, we can navigate the problems. So what he should do, and where John is right and where I agree to a certain extent, you have to anchor the dollar, and you have to limit the way in which government and these 535 morons we call politicians can sign the future into debt in perpetuity forever. So you have to attach it, in my opinion, to something. Now, I would do it in a basket, and I would include the alternatives to the dollar in it. I really would. I would. And that to me is how you can bring absolute and total dominance of the U.S. dollar over everything else. And the game is the cleanest dirty shirts, because all of these people want to perpetrate monetized debt where they're taking debt and they themselves make the interest. You know, I ask that question all the time. You've heard me. So if nobody is buying the debt and this group of board members creates a buyer that doesn't exist,
who gets the interest?
Who gets the money? And the answer is they do. They do. And the bureaucrats do, and it's the perfect financial crime perpetrated on all people. And that's why they play this ticky-tack tax game. Because you want to talk about taxes. Well, if the country can have debt, if cities like Chicago can have debt, if states can have debt, why does any citizen pay tax? Why do you pay tax? And the answer is you pay tax to let you know you're a slave. Right?
Right.
So that's what it is.
You can be as optimistic as you want on the dollar, like your guest is, or America long game as you want. The spending, it's just not going to stop. I mean, there's no sign of it that it's going to slow down in any way, shape, or form. I mean,
this is why the opportunity.
A little over $2 trillion deficit annually now.
Well, first of all, it's way more because they count government spending as revenue. That's a crime.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Listen, here's the thing. They have to continue to perpetrate this fraud because they don't want Americans to know 80% of us are subsidized from debt. That's why they're hiding the cost of it all. And they tell you your health care prices are going to go up. They already went up. The government strokes the check in the front of that. Yeah, they already went up when Obama signed Obamacare. They don't want you to know. In this country, accountants are laughing right now in their car. Accountants are laughing because they know exactly what I'm talking about. You and your wife could make $500,000 a year, and you're subsidized on your Obamacare payments, on your insurance. Did you know that?
Right. Because as long as you're in there contributing, they actually want that. So
then they tax the guys who make more.
Tax breaks for the rich people now.
Right.
You know?
And then if you make more than that, now you pay the $2,500 a month, which is $30,000 a year for insurance that 90% of the decent, healthy people don't use. It's all the drug addicts and the slobs that use it. Thank you very much for aggravating the dung out of me, Kevin. I was in such a good mood with Jonathan Tamny. See, he was Pollyannish, and it's going to be great. And then Kevin. Now it's a scam. Mitchell, Des Plaines.
Well, what I find interesting about when you bring up oil, I don't know if you know this or not, I'm sure you do, Shaun, that Saddam Hussein was giving away oil during, the second invasion, right? So when we go into Iraq, that's the only thing. Donald Rumsfeld's book, after he got fired, He said we went after Saddam because he was giving away. It was a threat to the Bushes. It's Zapata oil. Shocker.
Dude, did you see? Forget about it. I mean, you're right. You're 100% right. But wacky Gaddafi, he really gave away stuff. You had to whack that son of a gun. Now look at it. Hillary Clinton took care of that. I mean, but
what was he giving away?
Here's the thing. Wacky Gaddafi gave away everything. You got married, he gave you a house and the whole 9 yards. Here's what you have to understand. The whole reason the Middle East has any money is because of the cartel system we set up with OPEC. That's it. We're the ones that fluff up that price. The reason they're terrified of Trump, he'll plummet oil to $23. Now how much money does the Middle East have? Nothing.
What about us taking off the petrodollar? Do you think that has some kind of impact on some level?
They're not going to do it now because Trump will say, okay. Okay.
Right.
Go ahead. We got enough oil here. And, people are like, oh, why don't they open up the pipelines? He already opened up the pipelines. Oil's half of what it was under Biden's first year. Half. Right now.
Yeah.
Right now. Nobody talks about that. That's what's keeping the whole thing together. That's the glue right there. And Trump knows it. That's why the first thing he did in day one, took out the regulations, opened up the flow, lets everybody go back to work. And the pipelines that aren't being fixed, everybody's obsessed with what's the pipeline that everybody loves? Keystone. The contractors don't want to put it together. Day one, he said, put it together. You don't need it now because oil's cheap. There's no money in it. See, that's the dirty little secret. And that's when you understand. When you understand that the reason we have all this green energy bulldung, it's the oil companies that wanted it. In conjunction with government, it drives up the price of oil. The oil companies hate Donald Trump. They hate Donald Trump. Thank you very much, Mitchell. Andrew, Cherville, my punchlines are always better, but I'll give you another shot.
What's the only thing that shakes more than Pritzker's butt?
Ooh, what is the only thing that shakes more than Pritzker's butt? All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What do you got? I was going to say Hillary Clinton's inner thigh, but that's gross. But it is a Friday. But go ahead.
The gerbils at the pet shop when Barack and Larry walk in.
Ooh. Wow, that's tying topics together, sure. And when you say Larry, you mean Larry Sinclair, who was not believed and had to leave the country after Joe Biden's crooked Delaware indicted him for limo fee. Matt, Mount Greenwood.
I just threw up in my mouth when you mentioned Hillary's inner thighs.
Yeah, that's too rough. That's rough. That's the only woman that Bill Clinton never hit on. Go ahead.
Your last guest, nice guy, but way too optimistic. The dumbing down of America is evident. There's less and less smart people in this country thanks to the Democrat scholastic system. Let's face it. People are so naive or stupid. Right?
So, but here's what he's trying to do, and it's my fault, and I did a disservice to John. John's book is on the deficit and the fraud in the deficit, and we didn't talk about that. We talked about what's happening now, because I have to tell you something, man. With this bank situation, and I look into this stuff. I don't watch anything. I look into everything, right? So I'm looking into this. When you factor in these companies, you're talking hundreds of billions of dollars of loans have been given to companies that no longer exist. They got the money and they closed shop. See, all the scum in the Democrat mafia scum, like the ones in L.A. and the ones in Chicago, that created LLCs to get PPP money, the real scallywags, they took that money as evidence of revenue. Then they filed for another loan with a bank. So they got two loans. Then they closed the door. See you later. And you're talking big money. Big money. And now the banks are realizing, well, wait a minute, where's a Joe Materazzi LLC? Oh, that closed right after the money hit the checking account. What? Yeah. So you all that money that was splashed, you're talking trillions of dollars. $14 trillion is what Joe Biden pushed out of the door. At least. It might be $18 trillion. All that money out of the door, nobody knows where the money is. And now when the banks are like, well, wait a minute, how come we're not getting this and this? And that's why you see foreclosures 30% increase in 2 years in Illinois. 30% successful foreclosures where the bank won. You got a problem on your hands, kid. And they're trying to keep everybody calm. But I don't like liars. That's why if you're wearing a size 16 yoga pants, don't ask me how you look. Okay? Thank you very much, Matt. 312-642-5600.
Broadcasting from the petri dish of corruption known as the state of Illinois.
In the upper Midwest, the nation, and around the world.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.